Hey, it's the right weekend, and I'm actually going to record this a little bit earlier. So if you're seeing this and things are changed, it's because I had to leave early in the day. Normally, I'll try to do interviews and schedule them when I'm not going to be able to make my daily video. But today, I'm going to take my kids to the amusement park so they could have some fun. And so I could come home tired. So I figured, let me do something before we leave. So I'm going to talk about uh, this story that's going around because I think it's hilarious. Um, Here it goes. Uh, Excuse me. Chris Cuomo roasted after asking for examples of his bias as critics dig up multiple instances. And I'm just going to show you here real quick. It goes here. He put the story. Someone put the story of your life. You constantly deny facts you don't like. Name one, and then he put TikTok. And it didn't take long for examples to roll up. So it goes here. Obviously, everyone knows that Chris is the brother of Andrew. But people kept writing stuff. Let's see. DeSantis did a better job than Andrew. You pushed Rebecca Jones lies, telling your brother to claim he was a target of cancel culture. You claim the GOP wants Jim Crow. You don't know 1A protects peaceful protest. You claim Fredo was an ethnic slur, which was hilarious too. He broke quarantine. uh, how about the 400 stories related to Hunter Biden? Someone here put a post here. Governor DeSantis needs to worry less about what I'm writing about and more about people who are sick and dying. Doing this to me will not stop me from reporting the data ever, except when it was about his brother. Florida data scientist Rebecca Jones on having her home raided as part of a cyber crime investigation. Your brother, because he was not objective. This is the best one. If you have not seen this one, let's see if I could make it bigger just so you could see this. It's hilarious. I'm sure you have. If you haven't, then you have to check it out. It's funny. You have to watch
Show
the
me
video.
where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful. And please,
There's the First Amendment. You just gotta look it up, Mr. Cuomo.
That was priceless. I remember seeing that. I mean, I don't know who eats ramen noodles like that, but um, New York admits knowingly undercounting nurses' home deaths after quietly changing reporting rules. Same thing with him breaking quarantine. You know, having this guy on his show. Pretty much anything related to your brother's governorship, which is true. Cuomo spends all day demanding people show proof, then ignores the dozens of people that show proof. Enjoy the ratio. And yeah, I mean, and if you go, the irony is if you go to his page, um, he well actually, I guess he's trying to uh mitigate damage where he goes here. Honestly, Chris, is the same thing as you lying when you omit facts to serve your narrative. You did this when reporting on police issues this past year, but you weren't the only one. And then he put, again, show it. I doubt you watched. You just generalized. Tell me what was omitted. And it's just like, you know, you ask for examples. They're telling you examples. They're telling you where your bias lies, but he wants to ignore it. Um, here goes about the Russian dossier. He's there. The fact that he's going meeting with Trumpers and Russia connected. Uh, the fact that he's calling it Trumpers right there, Chris, that's your bias right there. That just goes to show, where your bias lies. Not that we didn't know, because when your father was the Democratic governor of New York and your brother's the Democratic governor of New York, we know where your bias lies. you know um we said the Wuhan lab leak, there was nobody in the news that gave it a chance till now. So when he's talking about people, he was open to it. No, he wasn't. So I mean, it's funny, and then you know, if you go on, as you go on Twitter and you see all the different things people put on. I love this one. His fake coming out of the basement from COVID when he was seen right, when he was seen around town. And this one, oh, hate speech is excluded from protection under the First Amendment. BS, BBS, and um, yeah, there goes the one with him with his bike. The whole Fredo thing, which he did that to himself because now everybody refers to him as Fredo, which was his own fault. Um, so live look at Chris scrolling through the truth bombs. Oh, that's funny. But yeah, here goes again. Fredo, here's a good one. Chris Cuomo mocked after failing on air to disapprove Trump phone call. Okay. Didn't you break quarantine? So yeah, so you could see, I mean, all this stuff. I mean, you can see the memes, they're funny. But that's, when you see that, when you see their bias, I mean, just look at it. Instead of just trying to deny it, maybe just take a self-reflection and see where your bias is. Because I know where my bias is. I know where my blind spots are. Not everybody does, but I get it. So anyways, let's I'm gonna transition to this story here, which I think is an important story that I don't know if a lot of people have touched. It goes here: is the tide turning against cancer culture? And it goes here, Kevin Hart, Charles Barkley, Rita Moreno slammed the woke scolds. And um after reading the story, I will say I wish I could say that cancel culture was ending, but it's really not. But I'm going to go through the story here where you see about Kevin Hart, who we all know lost his Oscar hosting gig because of some gay jokes he made, early in his career. And it's like, um, honestly, that's why I like Dave Chappelle. When Dave Chappelle came back, he made jokes. And when they criticized his jokes because they were transphobic, he just doubled down and was just like, I'm gonna give you the middle finger and tell you where you could stick it. uh Kevin Hart hasn't done that as much because he tries to have like this wholesome image, and I get it. You sell an image and you need to, but he did say here, um he goes here, he's blasting cancel culture with all his might and doing so with context, compassion, and wit. When did we get to a point where life was supposed to be perfect, where people were supposed to operate perfectly all the time? I don't understand, he continued. I don't expect perfection from my kids. I don't expect it from my wife, friends, employees, because last I checked, the only way you grow up is from effing up. I don't know a kid who hasn't effed up or done some dumb shit. Uh, it goes here. John Lovitz also, he compared it to McCarthyism, which it kind of is. I mean, I think that's the best example when you look at what's going on with cancel culture. It is McCarthyism on steroids. The only difference is when it came to McCarthyism, he was more right than these people are, because in my opinion, in that era, is like he was looking at Hollywood and stuff like that. But really, what happened was it went, communism and Marxism went into the university, and that's where we are right now. It's just the fact that we've had generations now of kids learning that Marxism is great on college campuses. And you watch my previous video from 2 days ago, I talk about how we need to fight against that. But anyway, I digress. Let me get to the next part. Um, It goes here. Charles Barkley isn't a comedian, but his post NBA career finds him working steadily as a sports analyst. Not for long, apparently. The outspoken legend says he'll stick around for 2 more years, and then he'll have corporate broadcast. He'll leave corporate broadcasting behind him. And he goes, "Why? Because it's no fun. The fun's no longer there." He goes, they don't even let me talk about San Antonio anymore. When I'm always talking about them big old women from down in San Antonio, Barkley told Grant Paulson and Robert Royer on Monday Grant and Danny show on 106.7 The Fan. The comments came after TNT, Barkley's network, put a stop to his jokes about San Antonio women. He said, "They're coming for your head, and a lot of our bosses are cowards," Barkley said. I said, "Context matters." They're like, "Context doesn't matter." I said, "That's total BS. Context always has to matter." But now, if you crack a joke the wrong way, they're like, "Oh, no, 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 you crossed the line." Same thing. And this is a really good example here because Rita Moreno weighed in on cancel culture. It says here, um, but it was basically about defending Lin-Manuel Miranda under fire for not having enough darker skinned Latino actors in his musical The Heights. And this is a good thing. You can never ever be woke enough, and that's the problem. It's never good enough. That's why I say you can't give in to these people, because that's the whole thing. Here's what she said: "You can never do it right. It seems the man who literally has brought Latino-ness and Puerto Rican-ness to America. I couldn't do it. I'd love to say I did it, but I couldn't. Lin Manuel has done that really single-handedly. That's the whole thing. He's, created Hamilton, and even with that, they criticized him for, um, I guess for hyping up a founding father and all that stuff. And now with the Heights, they criticized that he didn't have enough dark-skinned Latino actors in his musical. What can you can never please these people. It's enough. They make you jump um from one thing to another, and you just go, okay. Here they're talking about like Chrissy Teigen, but you know what, um I don't even want to talk about her. But the same hypocrisy extends to unfairly canceled Gina Carano, of course. Yeah, she's the biggest example of when they tell you that it's accountability culture, it's nonsense. Okay, because what it basically boils down to is uh let's say the actor from The Mandalorian, the guy, I forget his name right now, the Spanish guy. He Let me see, does it have his name here? No, it doesn't have his name there. He made a Nazi comparison on Twitter, way before Gina Carano did, and it was okay. The minute she did it, because it disagreed with um, uh, Disney's sensibilities, because since they're all left wing and Gina Carano's not, they had to cancel her because she was one of the more popular. She was a strong female character where if they would have not canceled it, I think she was gonna lead another show. So you can't have a strong conservative woman leading a show. You can't have her be the head of a show and show how you don't have to be you don't have to be easy. You don't have to be showing off all your stuff to be a popular woman. She's a strong female who's whenever you see her, she's not showing off everything and all that stuff, but she's still hot. And you don't have to do that, women. You don't have to be there in bikinis and all that stuff. But anyways, that's a different story, different topic for a different day. I just wanted to show some stories that were going on that I caught this morning, because that's how I usually prepare. I read something, and if something either bothers me enough, I'll come on here and talk about it, and you know, hoping people like it too, and people will follow along. So anyways, I'm the Ray Rican. I post these videos on YouTube and Rumble. I post them on my social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Gab. If you like it, please subscribe to my content. and also share it on the social media platforms, because you know YouTube is not going to share my videos that easy. So anyways, have a good one. Have a good day, everyone. I'm out.